Well, greetings, Pastor Eric from Zion Lutheran Church in beautiful Redmond on day 40. We've come to the end of our 40 days with Take 10 with John. I hope it's been good for you. It's been a real privilege for me to walk through the Gospel of John in different ways, looking at the 7 I am, the 7 people, the 7 signs of Jesus through the upper room, through the trial and post-resurrection experiences of the disciples with Jesus. Today we're looking at Peter. It's the last story in the Gospel of John, and it reads in this way. When they had finished breakfast, we talked about this yesterday, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" He said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Feed my lambs." A second time he said to him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" And he said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know I love you." Jesus said to him, "Tend my sheep." He said to him the third time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter felt hurt because he had said to him the third time, "Do you love me?" And he said to him, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Feed my sheep. Very truly, I tell you, when you were a teenager, you used to fasten your own belt and go wherever you wished, but when you grow old, you will stretch out your hand. Someone else will fasten a belt around you and take you where you do not wish to go." He said this to indicate the kind of death by which he would glorify God. After this, he said to him, "Follow me." So, very interesting words of Jesus to Peter, the prime disciple. And yesterday we talked about they saw Jesus, the 153 fish, the charcoal fire. Now Jesus asked Peter 3 times, "Do you love me?" Maybe to undo the 3 times that Peter denied him in the garden. Jesus around the charcoal fire. When Peter denied Jesus, it was also around the charcoal fire in the courtyard. Only 2 times in the Bible where that charcoal fire is mentioned. So Jesus says, "Do you love me?" What's going on there? Why did Jesus ask 3 times? Well, one of the fascinating things is that what we miss in the English translation are the Greek words that are used there. We have really one word for love. It's just love. You love your sister, you love your spouse, you love Jesus, you love your neighbor. Oh, I love your shoes. We love all kinds of things, and there's one word for that, and that is love. But in the Greek language, there are a number of words for love, 2 primary ones that Jesus uses here. One is agape. Agape is the deepest form of love, based not on doing good for one another, but on a deep sacrificial living a life for the sake of another person. Loving God with your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Loving your neighbor as yourself. That's agape love. Deep sacrificial love for one another, for another person, in which you're totally willing to give your life and totally willing to give your all. That's the kind of love that Jesus has for us, and it's the kind of love that he calls us to have for one another, an agape kind of love. But the second primary word in the Greek New Testament is phileo. Phileo is a brotherly, sisterly kind of love towards someone we really love, but we don't have that agape kind of love. Philadelphia is a city of brotherly love, coming from the words phileo and Adolphus, which means brother in Greek, city of brotherly love. Phileo is an important love, but it's a different level than the agape, totally self-giving kind of love. So when Jesus asked Peter the first time, "Peter, do you agape me? Do you love me with that agape kind of love?" Peter doesn't say, oh yes, Lord, I agape you. Peter answers with, I phileo you. Yeah, Jesus, we're friends, we're buds, we're brothers. He doesn't say agape. He doesn't answer the way that Jesus asked him. Jesus said, do you agape me, love me in that way? Peter says, phileo. Yeah, we're buds. So the second time Jesus says, Peter, do you agape me? And Peter says, yeah, we're buds. Yeah, agape, phileo. Jesus asks twice, do you agape me? And Peter answers twice, yes, I phileo you. Yes, we're friends. Well, Jesus by that point kind of realized that Peter was not able to give back to him the kind of love that Jesus had for Peter, the agape kind of love. Peter answers, yes, phileo. Yeah, we're friends. Yeah, we're buds. He uses a different love word. So the third time Jesus asked Peter, do you love me, agape, realizing that Peter was not able to come back with that agape, Jesus says the third time, Peter, do you phileo me? Peter says, yeah, I phileo you. Yeah, just much. I'm not able to give that agape kind of answer. Peter answers 3 times with phileo. Yes, we're buds. Jesus asks twice, do you agape me? Third time he says, do you phileo me? And Peter says, yeah, we're buds. Well, I find what's interesting in that is that Jesus wants an agape love from Peter. Peter's not able to give it back, so Jesus changes the question and says, do you phileo me? Peter says, yeah, we're phileo me, which means that Jesus loves us just as we are, no matter just as I am without one, but I come to thee. Jesus loves us with an agape kind of love, but while Peter wasn't able to really answer that, it gives us the insight of sometimes if we're not able to answer that, that's okay. Because the main point is that while our hearts may be busy with other things, and so, yes, Jesus, we phileo you. Yes, Jesus, we think you're great. Yes, we come to church. What Jesus really wants from us is an agape kind of self-giving, I'm all in the pool kind of love. But it's okay if on our journey of faith, we're not able to give that all the time right away. Even though that's what Jesus wants from us, Jesus changed his question to Peter, meaning that Jesus meets us where we are in our spiritual journey or walk. Jesus always wants us to be making progress, and what he's willing to do is say, okay, if you follow me as best you can, I want more from you as time goes on, but I'm willing to walk with you along the journey until you're able to answer with that agape love. Here's the point, that Jesus loves us just the way we are, unconditionally without reserve. Unconditionally without reserve, just like Jesus loved Peter. And yet at the same time, he loves us too much to let us stay that way, to let us stay just with a kind of a half-hearted 50, 60, 70% kind of love. Jesus loves us just where we are on our journey, loves just, you are just the way that you are on whatever walk, path, journey you're on, but loves you too much to let you stay that way. Jesus wants your growth. Jesus wants your heart, soul, mind, strength. Jesus wants your hands. Jesus wants all of you, but loves you too much to stay where you are. So keep growing, keep learning, keep coming to church, keep praying, keep working toward that agape love that Jesus wants for us. That's why I provided these blogs and teaching stuff, 292 of them since we went into this pandemic back in March 2020, so that we can grow, so that we can get closer to God and have a more real and personal relationship with Jesus in all that we do. Wherever you are, Jesus wants to say, that's okay. but I love you too much to stay where you are. Continue to grow with me, Jesus says. Continue to learn more. Continue to discover the incredible agape love that Jesus has for you. For you. That's what's important. So we conclude 40 days with Take 10 with John. I hope it's been a good journey for you. Remember to pick up the booklet and share the Gospel of John with somebody somewhere. The opportunity will arise, and if you have that resource, you'll be able to give it to them and say, here's the Gospel of John. If you want to know anything more, be glad to talk with you about that, or contact my pastor. That's fine too. I'd love to talk with anybody that you share that gospel with. We're going to close with Jesus Calling for May 28th. Let me anoint you with my presence. I am King and King and Lord of Lords, dwelling in unapproachable light. When you draw near to me, I respond by coming closer to you. As my presence envelops you, you may feel overwhelmed by my power and my glory. This is a form of worship, sensing your smallness in comparison to my greatness. We always tend to make ourselves the measure of all things, but our measure is too tiny to comprehend my majestic vastness. This is why most people do not see me at all, even though they live and move and have their being in me. Enjoy the radiant beauty of my presence. Declare my glorious being to the world. And declare my glorious being to the world. You can do that by sharing the Gospel of John. You take care. I look forward to seeing you in church or many other ways in which I'd love to be in touch with you. Email me, be in touch, and until we talk again, you take care. Bye-bye.